Yeah. Blackjack. Life is like a game of cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Yeah. Blackjack. To play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's your boy DELRAY Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, StraightGameTV. Thank you for tuning in. Hit the like button, the subscribe button, the bell for the notifications. So when I drop something, you're one of the first people to be notified. The question comes in from a young man from Kansas City, Missouri, and he wanted to know if Faith Evans really spent a $40,000 or $50,000 on Tupac right after he got out of jail. And the short answer to that question is absolutely positively not. When I came out and I talked about Faith Evans once again and the situation and when they met and how everything really happened and Tupac was telling the truth in regards to hit him up, I wasn't trying to disrespect her. I was trying to just, like I said, for the future reference, clear the air and basically state the facts. And so what I'm going to break down for you is the timeline to show you how Faith Evans didn't have or could not have spent $40,000 or $50,000 on Tupac. These are nothing but the facts. So like I said before, the night that we were at the Hollywood Athletic Club was on the 18th of October 1995. The very next day, Tupac and Faith went to Can-Am Studios to go to record the song You Wonder Why They Call You Bitch. And shortly after that night, Faith Evans had said in her book that, she went right back to Tupac's hotel to allegedly get the $25,000 that he had promised to pay her for doing the song, which we know now is not true, based on the fact that Drew Down, who was in the hotel room when she came back later that night, and she was actually disguised in a hoodie, trying to disguise herself. Basically, number one, the Peninsula Hotel security is real tight because it's a 5-star hotel and dignitaries stay there. And number two, just trying not to be seen, going into the hotel at that time, meeting Tupac Shakur. And so I'm going to give you the timeline like this. So on the night of the 19th, they were at Can-Am Studios, and there's an interview by Natasha Walker, and she speaks on the fact that they were at the studio and they were drinking and smoking MJ and things like that, and they had ran out. And so when they ran out, she said that she wanted to get some more, and she was checking with everybody around the room to actually try to go get some more MJ. And so with that, Faith Evans, according to Tasha, like I said, she has, and this is an isolated incident, nothing to do with what I'm trying to tell you, just to show, the corroborating facts of people who were there. Basically, she said that Faith said, quote, this is what she said.
I was like, by the board, kind of telling them play this song or whatever. And then he's like, I'm going to smoke. And then so we were like, yeah, we got something. And so she Faith was like, I ain't got nothing. I ain't got no money. I can't put nothing on it because after we had smoked that, it was like nobody had any bud. So, we were all like, well, we got some of y'all pitch in, Lord. She was like, I'm broke. And, and I was sitting on the couch, and I was like, girl, you broke. She said, girl, I ain't got no money.
Okay. So we know and understand that according to that conversation that she didn't have any money, at least money to do things like that, or that she wanted to do something like that. And so that's fact number one, right? And so fact number two is this. The clothes that Faith was supposed to had bought, but she didn't buy, Tupac had basically purchased on his own when he got out of prison. This fact is known based on the interview with Chuck Phillips and the Death Row publicist saying Tupac was at the Beverly Center buying clothes.
Because Suge told, I figured maybe that he went to work Saturday.
Yeah, over the weekend.
Or Sunday. Because I know he's been in a few malls. I guess he had to buy clothes and stuff. Because people had spotted him and knew that he was on the call.
So now, Tupac gets out of jail on the 12th of October. We're at the Hollywood Athletic Club on the 18th of October. They record the song on the 19th of October. And so I'm going to take you to Vegas because there's a reporter that did a story in regards to that where this is where the story originated from. I'm going to give you the original where the story of that originated from. And at this particular time, you can see that Tupac was still uncomfortable talking about that him and Faith had relations, if you will. You know what I mean? He didn't really want to tell the world like he, told the world or came to tell the world. And so what happened was, so there, it's November 4th, right? 1995, and they're at the Riddick Bowe Holyfield 3 fight, ready to go to the fight. And you can also tell that Tupac wasn't comfortable, wearing any kind of colors, in regards to, being mob or whatever. He wasn't comfortable with that yet. And so it goes on to say, it says, Tupac is the only one in a different color. He's wearing an elaborately patterned gold shirt and baggy jeans. The wife of a top rapper bought this for him, Suge says, razzing Tupac. Who's that? Tupac smiles. His name is an acronym. Suge smiles. Notorious B.I.G.'s wife, Faith Evans. Tupac nods. This is interesting for a few reasons. B.I.G. is Puffy's pride and joy. The beef is still on between him and Suge. Faith has gone on the radio to say she's not seeing Tupac. And finally, it's the old East Coast versus West Coast thing. She bought him this and a suit and some other stuff, Suge says. And how did you thank her, Tupac? Tupac pauses. I did enough, he says, rather salaciously. Now, if you pay attention to how that came about, at this particular time, the world doesn't really know. The reason why Faith went on the radio was because, like I said, it had got out that night when we were at the Hollywood Athletic Club. It had got back to Biggie that night. Somebody at the Hollywood Athletic Club called Biggie and told Biggie in regards to that. Like I said, I'm the one who revealed to the world what Biggie meant in his song Hypnotized when he said, and I quote, "Dare I squeeze 3 at your cherry M3, bang every MC easily, busily." And the reason why he said that, because Faith Evans was driving a cherry M3 red convertible BMW the night that she met Tupac, and we were at the Hollywood Athletic Club. So now, the night that the clothes would have been bought, if it did happen, but it didn't, would have been the night of the 19th when they recorded the song, or the day of the 19th, right? And the reason why that didn't happen was because, number one, Tasha explaining in the studio, she didn't have any money, right? Number two, when you think about, it's 16 days later that this thing comes out in this story where they mention, Faith allegedly bought, Tupac some clothes or whatever, right? And if you look at the items that are described, a pair of jeans, shirt, a suit, and some other stuff, that's not $40,000 or $50,000 worth of clothes. That ain't even $5,000 worth of clothes. I don't know what kind of suit, unless it was a solid gold suit, and I doubt that, but just, from that perspective. So that number is not true at all. And furthermore, once again, she was allegedly supposed to get $25,000, right? So where do you spend $40,000 on clothes for Tupac the second night that you met him, and he's only going to pay you $25,000. That math doesn't add up, right? These are facts. And so Faith, immediately after the night at the Hollywood Athletic Club, Biggie calling her and so on and so forth. So she has to fly back to New York because it got back to Biggie and Puffy, and they, they hot, they heated, like, yo, probably like, what you doing, And so she goes back to New York. Now, Tupac and Faith don't see each other until 27 days later at the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack release party, right? And so, once again, if you pay attention to the timeline, you'll understand that Suge was just razzing Tupac, like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, Faith bought this for you, and trying to get the reporter to move on something where it would be, what they call gaslighting or instigating or something like that, and on something that's totally not true, $40,000 or $50,000. Now, like I say, at the end of the day, that would have happened on that day, on the 19th. And so by that right there, that she didn't spend $40,000 or $50,000. Now, she could have spent $1,500. She could have spent $2,000. She could have spent whatever. But like I said, no, she didn't spend $40,000 or $50,000. And if I'm listening correctly to what was said, Tupac, like I said, he wasn't even comfortable stating the fact that he had slept with her yet. You know what I mean? When asked, and how did you think of Tupac? That Suge asked him, right? Tupac was like, I did enough. You know what I mean? He wasn't at that, I effed your B. You know what I'm saying? And this, that, and he wasn't at that point yet. Because like I said, at the end of the day, she was denying it. He wasn't really copping to it from that perspective, like until a little bit later on, which was March, when he did the Source interview, the Source magazine interview, if you will, March of 1996. I believe that was when he first said something about that, and also he said something about it in an interview with Luke from 2 Live Crew. And so, like I said, so no, the answer to that question is no. She didn't spend $40,000 or $50,000. I mean, and it sounds good, you know what I mean, from that. But no, the fact of the matter is she didn't. And like I said, whether she spent any money at all, I don't believe so. Like I said, because under the situation, in trying to get paid her money from doing the song, and which she did get paid. I'm not sure of the amount, but I know she got paid. You know what I mean? But so yeah. So like I said, people will say things, but really not have the information. And like I said, you follow the timeline. Once again, the night that had to happen would have been on the 19th. And like I said, she didn't leave with Tupac after the studio. She showed up later at the Peninsula Hotel with the hoodie and stuff on. And so, like I said, when did they have time to buy that? And like I said, another thing, $40,000 or $50,000 you spent, on Tupac. I'm sure Biggie would have seen, that bill or got wind of that bill, because at the particular time, he was popping, you know what I mean? And actually, doing a little bit more than she was, and they were actually married. So that's another thing. But yeah, just, you got to wade through things. Like I said, a lot of times when you hear stuff, you know what I mean? You got to, I'm looking for the facts. I'm not looking for what somebody feel or what somebody said. Show me how it correlates to what that is. And like I said, so in the story in itself, it was just, gaslighting at its best. You know what I mean? Because, that's what was going on at that particular time. And then later on, Tupac felt comfortable based on just the whole situation and how he felt and things like that. And then, in March, in the Source magazine of 96, he said what he said in regards to having relations with her. And then in June is when he dropped Hit 'Em Up. So like I said, your boy DELRAY, Straight Game.